John Deere 18-speed PowerShift transmission. This is for your 9 series four-wheel drive tractors, 90/20, 90/30, and 9R series. We rebuild these transmissions in Kansas, fully disassembled all the way down to the individual component. All wear parts are replaced, which would include your clutch disc, all bearings, races, seals, O-rings, etc. On our latest revision, we've got the filter base on them and new oil filters to prevent any contamination. Ours do not include the shift solenoid valves because that's really never a problem. No one replaces their transmission because they got a bad shift valve. So we just leave those out to help with the price. Yokes are included on most of our transmissions, but the same as the OEM. If it's different, you just swap it out. So here's a transmission case. Most guys have probably never seen inside of one, but what happens is you've got 8 shafts in there, and they all run together at different times. 3 of them run together all the time. And that's typically where you see your worst case scenarios, because if something falls into the transmission, then it's going to run through those 3 for sure, and just depends on how long you run it. Here's just some, quote, bad gears that came back from the rebuild shop. We like to keep them for reference. That way if we need to send parts out, we know what we're looking for. We also can see what goes bad. The major failures, based on our failure analysis, typically come from a prior rebuild. Someone torched the bearing off, and when you torch the bearing off, especially when you get into the shaft, this is what can happen. It weakens the shaft, takes the heat out of it or temper out of it, breaks off, and you get a complete shit show. So one tip on you got transmission problems, you don't know if you need one or not, is this right here. If you pull this screen out and it's got metal like that, you need a transmission. You know, whether where you buy it or what you do, you're probably it's gonna be more cost effective to get a transmission. And here's where the bulk of our transmissions start. They come out of tractors that either had fire, water, whatever the answer is. And they're not good enough to sell used. So here's an example. This transmission was tested in a tractor and it failed the M clutch. So most salvage yards, you would never know that. You'd buy it and you put it in, and there you'd be. These ones with heat or fire on them, they're not really hurt, although you'll get a leak. See our leak here? But what can happen is your seals on the clutch shafts can get weak or brittle, and so we just don't want to risk them. Now this is a case, this is not a Deere, but in this case here, we don't build those. We don't stock the 9000 or the early 90/20. We've got plenty of stuff that we can build them with, but we just don't stock them, typically because it's a price point. It costs just as much to build a 9000 series as it does a 9R FT4. So from a cost wise, most guys don't want to spend that type of money. I totally understand it. The biggest problem with the OEM is availability. They're not always available. Some of them they have, some of them they don't. So we try to keep one of everyone on the shelf, and we've just revised pricing based on warranty. I'll tell you how that works. So based on OEM pricing, not Joe's repair service, all PowerShifts with the exception of the FT4, 1-year warranty, $40,000, 2.5-year warranty, $45,000, 5-year warranty, $50,000. I get that's a lot of money. That's why we're giving you options. Some people want more security. Some people want the cheaper price. It's the same transmission, just depends on how long we warranty it. The 2015 to 2019 FT4 transmission starts at 50, 55, and 60 for the warranty. It's just a higher price transmission from the OEM. With our warranty, you need to make sure that you flush your system, because contamination is really the only problem that we see with the transmission, and it always happens at install. So if you put it in and you contaminate it, it's never going to leave the shop. Those are hard warranties because our transmission started off clean. You've introduced contamination into it, which means it really wasn't a warranty, but now we still got a problem. So flushing your system is super important. It's in every tractor model service section. You do have to look under the hydraulic cleanup, and it tells you exactly what you should do. So as long as you do that, we're going to cover the warranty for parts and workmanship. If we can help you out, let us know. One last note on pricing. To fully disassemble, clean, inspect, replace all wear parts is $25,000. So if you just have a transmission slipping and you have someone qualified to do it, you can have yours rebuilt for $25,000. If you have mechanical damage, so you've got filings, you've got chips, you've got any sort of metal in your screen, it's going to be 25 plus parts. So as an example, if you wanted to send one in to us for us to rebuild, the base is $25,000 plus any parts that are bad. So if you price any of those shaft assemblies about 10 grand a piece, and you've got 7 of them, they're not always going to be bad, but that just gives you an example of what you can get into.